Number 1. This happened to me back in 2007. I was 9 years old, and my brother was 14. My mom had sent us out of the house with about $30 to go to a movie and maybe get a bite to eat afterwards. My brother wanted to get something to eat first, and I agreed to walk to McDonald's, which was only a couple of blocks away from the movie theater. He had a friendly smile plastered on his face, and he was holding his child's hand. "Hey, do you two think you could give me and my son a hand real quick?" It was at this time I noticed the little boy. I turned my attention back to the man who was now mumbling to my brother about how it would only take a second, and tried to persuade my brother that we should help this guy out. My brother had a disturbed expression on his face as he looked down at the child. The child stared back at my brother, blankly. I didn't understand why my brother had that look on his face. I didn't understand what was going on and why my brother had just lied about our mum being over there. I looked back and could still see the man holding his son's hand. I pulled away from my brother's grasp and bombarded him with questions. I remember the police showing up, and my mum came soon after. I asked my mother what was going on, and she said that the police were just questioning my brother because the man we had encountered was very dangerous. By the next morning, I had almost completely forgotten about the incident, and things went back to normal. I decided to call my now 22-year-old brother to get some answers, and now that I know everything, I understand how fucking terrifying our encounter with this man truly was. The little boy then looked at my brother, with his eyes filled with terror, and mouthed out the words, "I'm not his son." This was why he had become so freaked out and snatched me away. They couldn't do much with the little information my brother had given, because we hadn't even seen the car that the man supposedly had. My brother told me that a few weeks into the investigation, they had found the little boy who was with the man dead. If my brother and I had gone with that sicko, we likely would have met the same fate. That meant he had to have other pedophile partners who would have helped him snatch up unsuspecting kids. Unfortunately, they were never able to catch any of the sick fucks who did this to that child. The pedophiles had managed to kidnap the poor boy and used him as their puppet to try and kidnap other children. He was only a year younger than I was at that time, and I can only imagine how terrible it must have been to slowly starve to death. Some backstory: this was years ago. On summer days, my best friend and I would also venture around our woodsy neighborhood and do typical kids things. We'll call my friend Sarah, my little sister Sammy, and her little sister Alex. Our favorite thing to do was to walk to our other neighbor's house and use their trampoline. It was in our neighborhood, but the houses are pretty spread out with dense forest in between. One day, Sarah and I decided to let Sammy and Alex come along to trampoline with us, and decided to head back to Sarah's house for some snacks. As soon as we cleared this area, we would be right on top of their house. She was walking towards us, and would pass us. Take walks around here because of the woods. And can be confusing, and plus, she was a lady with a baby, not some creepy old man. We told her the name of the road, and she told us that she was really lost, and that she needed to get back home to take care of her baby. She then asked if we could escort her back to her house because she didn't know if she'd be able to find it, even with directions. Sarah agreed to help, but I felt really uncomfortable, and was told never to talk to strangers, even if they're women. I told the lady none of us could help because Sarah's dad was expecting us home soon. Sarah gave me a weird look, but I think she caught on, because she said, "Oh yeah, we can't actually help, sorry." At this point, I wasn't really freaked. I just knew that I shouldn't be helping strangers back to their house. I went to step in front of the younger two. They were trailing behind us, and I wanted to push them forward so we could start walking away. I stepped closer to the lady in my efforts, and could then look into her stroller. That was when my heart sank. The baby was fake. It was a baby doll. It was all wrapped up in blankets, but I could see that it was made of plastic. At that point, I didn't know what to do. I found myself screaming, "Run!" I made sure that Sammy and Alex were ahead of me, and we sprinted to their house. Her dad was working in the garage on something, and we ran to him, out of breath and crying. I quickly just said that there was a lady trying to get us to go home with her, with a fake baby. He grabbed a golf club from his caddy that was lying around and told us to get in the house. We all went in, and a few minutes later, he came back. He said he was heading towards the lady when she spotted him. She was already on the phone with someone. Out of nowhere, a white van apparently screeched up, and she threw the stroller in, and they sped off. It was definitely a very creepy experience. I don't know what the lady's intentions were, but I don't think they were innocent. Number 3. This happened 6 years ago when I was 13. During the summer, my mom had to leave us and tend to my grandpa, who had cancer and lived over 300 miles away. It was just my dad, my 16-year-old brother, and I for all 3 months of summer vacation. My dad worked all day, and my brother Dean went to summer school, which meant I was home alone for a good portion of the day. We lived in a fairly safe neighborhood, and I knew to always lock the door. One day, I was preparing to cook lunch, a grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I was heating up the frying pan when I heard scratching coming from the front door. I turned off the heat and inched closer to the front door. I slowly see the doorknob jiggle and slowly turn. Thankfully, the top lock was still locked, but I heard it being tampered with. I quietly run into the kitchen and grab the frying pan. I crawl into our pantry and post a status on Facebook asking someone to call the police and send them to my address. I hear someone enter the room and walk around. They don't really sound like they're doing anything, except walking. Then the footsteps get louder and louder. The pantry door opens, and I hit the person in the head with as much force as I can with the hot frying pan. The person, a man in his 40s, gets knocked out. The police arrive within a few minutes after this happens. They call my dad and brother to inform them of what happened. The police offer to take me to the station because I refuse to let them leave me alone, and my brother agrees to meet me there. It turns out the guy had a knife in his pocket and duct tape in the other. The police searched his car, which was parked out front of my house, and found rope, trash bags, girls' clothing, another knife, and a single picture of me in the glove department. I really don't know what would have happened to me. So, for some background. This guy, we'll call him Pete, is the brother of one of my neighbors. I'm 34, he's around my age, and my daughter is 8, and plays with the neighbors' kids sometimes. My neighbors are relatively normal people. Yeah, they party a lot, but so do I. Pete seemed as normal as anyone. He didn't have that creeper vibe at all. No sweatpants and tank top with random stains. He didn't drive a creepy van. He never made any inappropriate comments. In fact, he kept a neat goatee and was quite well dressed. The few times we met, we drank and smoked. The few times I met him, we drank and smoked. He just seemed like an all-around decent guy. Then one day, the cops are there. They take Pete away, in cuffs. He doesn't live there, but I guess they had a warrant and knew him to visit there, so that's where they got him. I figured it was probably no big deal. Maybe a drugs charge, or an outstanding warrant for some petty stuff. I didn't ask because it hardly seems polite to say, "Hey, what did your brother get arrested for?" But it's public record, and I knew his name, so of course I checked. The charge was about as bad as it could possibly be. Victim under the age of 13. What in the actual fuck? He didn't seem like that type at all. And I guess that's what really creeps me out. Sick, twisted pedophiles that could easily be mistaken for normal people. As the father of a young girl, that scares me more than anything else. The creeper vibe just wasn't there. He was convicted and will die in prison. This happened a couple of years ago when I was backpacking in Australia. I traveled around by driving a van, like many backpackers there do, as it saves a lot of money with accommodation. I usually slept in rest areas, gas stations, or wherever I could park. This one night, I've been driving for a few hours and started to feel sleepy. I decided then to stop in the next rest area, in the middle of nowhere. Parking in that location during daytime could have been a great idea, but at night, it seemed like a horror movie location. There were no cars parked there. I know I should park where there were more people around, but I was really drowsy. There were no lights whatsoever. I turned off the engine and closed the curtains of the van. It wasn't long before dawn that I heard some heavy knocking on the side of my van. Open up, it's the police. Nothing wakes you up faster than that. My heart was racing. I was just adjusting to the adrenaline rush in my system when they repeated the heavy knocking, saying it was the police again. My first thought is that I've parked somewhere that I shouldn't. But then again, it was the middle of nowhere, and it was a rest area. Before opening up, with my mind telling me that this situation was weird as fuck, I decided to go slowly to one of the windows and look through the gap in one of the curtains. I could clearly see the shape or shadow of a guy standing beside the van. His car wasn't too far, but it didn't have any flashing lights on. This guy was definitely not a cop. Bringing up the courage I had left, I just shouted, "Get the fuck away, I have a gun, and I'm calling the cops on the radio." I didn't have a radio or a gun, but that seemed to faze him. I saw him get back into his car, and to add to the creepiness, someone came out of the bushes and also got in the car. They left a few minutes after that. I turned on my van and drove in the opposite direction they went. Safe to say, I never slept in another rest area that didn't have at least a couple of other cars parked. I don't know what those people wanted, but with Australia's history of backpacker serial killers, I'm very happy to be here today. We're almost 50,000 subscribers now, guys, and that's truly astonishing. I'm really grateful to everyone who's supported me this far. Also, thank you once again to Anthony Salinas for his great artwork. He's the guy who provides me with all the great thumbnails, all the creepy stuff. You guys really seem to like the last image he provided for me on the Dates from Hell video. That was a really disturbing one, so make sure to check him out. Follow the link in the description. Give him some love. Keep sending me your scary stories, guys. I love reading them. You never know, yours might be used in the next installment of this series. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, where I'll be letting you guys choose between what sort of video you want me to upload on my Tuesday episodes. Make sure to follow me on that. I'm going to be polling you guys, and we'll see what we come up with. I'll let you guys choose what we do. Until that Tuesday video, guys, you stay spooky. And remember, the best things happen in the dark.